Dorsey, and welcome to the Priestess Power Exchange Yule Market. I am so excited to be part of this and to be one of the founding members of the Priestess Power Exchange. It's an exchange of knowledge about sacred divination and magic and all those wonderful things. So tonight, when I was thinking about what I was going to talk about, there's a whole bunch of things that I do, and I know, especially at this time of year, holidays, Festivus, Kwanzaa, Yule, winter solstice, that people really like to make and share things. And I think that's even more important now when we might have to be more distant from each other than we would like. So I decided I was going to talk about one of my most popular posts ever on my blog, Voodoo Universe, that people can find on Pathos or just search Voodoo Universe. And when I wrote it, it was really more about putting things together and not necessarily this whole commercialism and everything that's attached to the season, but that there were simple things that you could make and share with your loved ones. And some of these that we're going to do today, tonight, whenever you're watching this, have to do with stuff that's really simple, stuff that you could make with people almost of any age, even, again, depending on the actual components, but things that you might even be able to make with your children and share with them, or have them make and share with somebody who might be far away this season. So without any further ado, as Shakespeare would say, no, Shakespeare would say I had much ado, that's what I got. But we're going to do my top 10 pagan DIY gifts for Yule list. And this list, like I said, it's one of my most popular posts ever, and I'm really happy about it. And basically, it talks about a lot of different things. And the first thing I talk about is a protection mojo bag. Now, I'm not going to schlep out the sewing machine and sew a protection mojo bag, but I think that's something that's really good that people can put together. I have a video about it on my Lilith Dorsey YouTube channel, so people can go there and see that if they like. And I also have a video talking about my recipe for love nuts, because I think sharing love and sharing recipes that really come from the heart, that have the added boost of a little bit of magic in it. My love nuts, usually I do them with cashews or whatever nut that I know somebody's not allergic to. I know nuts are a big allergy for people, but then I combine it with honey and cinnamon and some spicy spices like black pepper and onion powder and garlic powder and paprika, smoky paprika, that makes it taste really good, and some butter, and I mix that all together and I put them in the oven. But you can find that recipe, like I said, on my YouTube channel. But what we are going to make today, which is something that's near and dear to my heart, are DIY runes. Now, runes are something that are traditionally used in the Norse workings and things like that. But I think they're also really good symbols that people can focus on no matter what tradition that they are. And I have a little Norse blood myself, so I don't necessarily consider this appropriation, but more honoring some of those ancestors of mine that did worship in these ways. And the simplest way, I think, to make runes is to go and get some stones or some glass drops from the store. What we're going to be using is stones today. Here's a small stone. And you're going to get yourself a Sharpie marker. I had one here. I think it rolled away. Oh, this is my luck. But what you're going to do is get yourself a Sharpie marker. If you have a dark stone like this one, you're going to want to get a marker that will show up. What I have today here is silver. And you can take any rune. What I've chosen to make today is the rune for Gifu or Gibo, which means gift and blessings. And I think that that's a really appropriate thing for the season. And the symbol's really simple. It's not like you need any artistic talent. Here it is here. I'll put it on the black background so you can see it. But the symbol for the gift rune is really just an X. So this would be a great thing to make. And you could have it on your altar as sort of a gift for the ancestors, or you could give it to someone else and share it with them as a gift to sort of make a bond or a connection with you. And like I said, this is something that's very simple that anybody could do. As long as they could pick up a pen and write, they can make an X on a rock and share it with somebody. So that's something that's really special to me. And if you want, you can make an entire set of runes this way. Again, using stones or glass blocks. People make runes out of everything these days. I have a silver cast set. The next thing that I want to talk about is making carved candles. And carved candles are something you can do with symbols from your own tradition. In my tradition of New Orleans voodoo, sometimes we'll carve candles with veves and veve symbols. And, you know, if you want to get very detailed, you can do that by actually carving it with a ritual knife and then going over it with herbs that you've crushed together, or even if you would like some sort of edible or biodegradable glitter. I know people love their shinies, so I'm not gonna go down on either side of the fence about glitter, but sometimes you need a little glitter in your life. But I'm not going to talk about candles because my lovely Priestess Power Exchange co-founder, along with Siona, my dear friend Little Luna, she is doing a candle tutorial for you tonight as part of this Yule market, so you can tune into that. One of the other things I have is an incense stick holder. That's something that's very simple that you can get either a piece of wood and drill a hole in it, and then you can use that for incense. You can decorate it however you want with sequins or, again, glitter, or you can decorate it with dried flowers or silk flowers, or really, you know, your imagination is the limit. And that's one of the best things that I think about the season, that you can really sort of personalize things and make it from the heart. Now you can also make your own Yule smudge sticks. Now, smudge sticks are something that's traditionally used in Native culture, but I'm not saying anybody should appropriate from the Native side of my family. And by all means, do not, under any circumstances, use white sage, but there's lots of different kinds of sage that you can use, and there's lots of other herbs that you can use. And one of the things that I like to do is grow my own herbs in the garden. Now that I'm in New Orleans, I can do it year round. And here's some sage that I have, some regular garden sage. If you can't grow it in the garden, or if it's Yule season and you don't have the space or it's not the weather for it, you can go to the supermarket and get some regular old garden sage. I also have some lavender here. It's very easy to make a smudge bundle. What you do is you take them and you know, tighten them up together, and then you wrap it and you tie it at intervals, intervals with some embroidery thread or some other kind of natural thread made out of cotton, so it's not going to be toxic when it burns, and then leave it to dry. You can tell when it's dry, it'll get hard and crumbly, it'll change color slightly, and then you can use that to burn as a sacred incense for your rituals, for your blessings, and things like that. So you can be mindful and make your own Yule thing. I mean, you might want to include something like pine or something. Just be really careful before you pick any herbs that you make sure burning them won't be some sort of irritant to your lungs or something if you're burning them indoors. So Yule smudge sticks, that's another thing we can make here. If we want to make some DIY Yule gifts, tarot crystal pouches are something that's also really nice to make and share and give at this time. You can get a simple cloth bag that's already made either online or from one of your local stores, or you can sew one up yourself. It's very simple. I'm a Girl Scout leader. They made me be a Girl Scout leader when my daughter was a Girl Scout, and once you're a Girl Scout leader, you're always a Girl Scout leader. So one of the simple things that we used to do was have them sew very simple shapes like squares or rectangles, and this is what we're working with when we're coming up with a tarot pouch or a rune pouch or a crystal pouch. You're really just sewing something that's a basic rectangle or a square. So it's very simple, and then you can personalize it however you want with ribbons or beads or other things like that. Now, the one thing we are going to make tonight is a cinnamon stick pentacle ornament. Now, these are very rustic or shabby chic, as people might say. And what you're going to do is attach some cinnamon sticks together. Again, you can get these at your supermarket. Oh, I'm gluing myself to myself already. It's going to be a long night, everybody, and a long day. So you're going to find them and you're going to arrange them in a pentacle pattern. So a pentacle, for those of you who are unfamiliar, is a 5-pointed star, and it's something that we use in witchcraft and related traditions to represent the 5 elements. The elements of water, just like in my book, Water Magic, air, fire, earth, water, air, fire, earth, and spirit. So you're going to arrange these You're going to want to play around with it a little bit before you start, just to make sure what the best configuration is. Obviously, some of these are going to be rounder, some of these are going to be fatter, some of these are going to be thicker, some of these are going to be smaller, and you're going to need a glue gun. So this is something that obviously small children won't be able to do, but it gets hot, but not too hot. Be cautious. Always with supervision. Sometimes even adults need supervision, but this is something that I think with supervision a teenager could do carefully. So you're going to glue these together very simply. The thing about a hot glue gun is sometimes it takes a while to stick, but you're going to start gluing them together. You're going to glue the first two together kind of in a upside down V shape, and you're going to put the glue in between them. The good thing about hot glue is it's clear, so you can use a whole bunch. It's not necessarily going to mess with your design. Then you're going to take the rest of them and follow suit, gluing along into a star pattern. And once you get these all down, then you will be able to, put it together and put a little teeny bit more glue on it. Glue, glue, glue. You don't want it to fall apart, certainly not. You're going to glue it to where it attaches at the edges, and then you're also going to glue it where it attaches and overlaps. So like I said, you're going to have to play around with your sticks a little bit, see which ones go together best, and see which ones really work and fit together. It's a little bit of a magical puzzle, but that's what we have sometimes, isn't it? Magical puzzles. So once you get it all together, all glued up, what you're going to have is something that pretty much, let me see if I can lift it up while it's still wet. You're going to have something that forms a star like that. And then after it dries, again, you can decorate it. You can hang a cord on it. You could hang it outside. You could hang it inside. You could hang it on your tree. You could gift it to somebody, since we're talking here all about gifts. Oh, look, I even lifted it up. So this is something that you can do. And then I wanted to come up with a way that you could do simple pentacles for kids that were even smaller and maybe not old enough to be able to use a glue gun. And for that, you will need pipe cleaners, good old pipe cleaners. I love pipe cleaners. I managed to find silver pipe cleaners at my dollar store. Oh, there's my Sharpie silver pen. Here we go. I managed to find silver pipe cleaners at the dollar store, and you're going to take them, and these two, you can very simply bend into a pentacle shape. So you're going to take the first one and fold it in half, squeeze it at the top, and then you're going to open it into a V shape again. You're going to do the same with the second one. This is a little bit easier to control. It's going to look slightly less rustic and slightly more magical. So then you're going to attach the two of them together so it begins to form a star. You can see, I'll put it on the black background so you can see. You're going to attach it here on the bottom. Twist, twist, twist. And then you're going to cut the next one. You're going to fold it in half and then cut it so that you have a smaller piece. And then you're going to take that half and attach it to what you've already made. Took me a second because I glued it to the cinnamon one while I was talking. You're going to attach that in the two corners, and then you have a very simple pentacle. Again, just like with the cinnamon pentacle, you can hang this on the tree, you can give it to someone for a gift, and it really is, again, something that someone of any age could do. Pipe cleaners are so much fun. They allow us to make so many different things. And in a way, this is even kind of a non-denominational type Yule thing, because as we know, not only witches use stars. So there you go. And you can hang a ribbon on that and move forward. So the only other thing that I would like to talk about tonight is part of the post that I did had a cinnamon stick or a twig candle holder. So this is a very simple premise as well. But what you're going to do for this is take your cinnamon sticks again, and you're going to glue them around a glass candle holder. So I have a glass candle holder here. This is me getting the glass candle holder. And again, with your hot glue gun, You're going to glue them to the outside of the candle holder, going all the way around, covering it all up. And then at the end, you're going to tie it. You could tie it with one of these pipe cleaners that I talked about before. You could tie it with a ribbon. In the blog post I did, I tied it with a ribbon and then put some jingle bells on it. You know, again, your imagination is the only limitations to really what we're making here tonight. So I hope you take a look at the post on Voodoo Universe. Top 10 DIY pagan gifts, something like that. Pagan DIY gifts for Yule, that's it. And I hope you're enjoying the Yule market. If you liked what we've done here, I hope maybe you'll take a look at some of my books. I mentioned that 2020 hasn't been easy on any of us, and I really didn't know I was going to be premiering 2 books this year, but my most recent book is Water Magic that I mentioned that came out from Llewellyn, and I hope everybody, all my water witches, all my mermaids, all my sea witches out there, take a look at it. And the other one, which has been an insane bestseller, and I'm so proud of it, is Orisha's Goddesses and Voodoo Queens. We've sold over 8,000 copies so far. It was #1 for months and months and months, and it really is the book that I wanted to write my whole life about the sacred feminine in the African traditional religions. So thanks so much for coming to our night market. Stay tuned. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff going on tonight. If you want to find out more about me, you can check out my website, lilithdorsey.com. Thanks and happy holidays.
Hello, welcome to Divine Crafting. My name is Little Luna. I'm a tarot reader here in New Orleans and one of the co-creators of the Priestess Power Exchange. And one of my favorite things is a candle, and Yule is such a special time for candles and such a great gift to give and receive. Candles are an ancient technology which continue to be useful even though we have other sources of light. The history of the use of candles can be traced back to the Chinese, to the Qin dynasty around 220 BCE. We also see that indigenous peoples use various animal fats to light torches and make candles of their own. But it really begins with the discovery of the powerful element of fire. We were able to light up the night sky and change all of human destiny with the invention of bonfires and candles. Candles have continued to be an important way to harness this element and bring comfort to the physical realm, and in spiritual practice they are a powerful representation of all of the elements coming together in perfect working order. Lighting a candle can help us broaden our senses and our sight and our insight and focus, deepen our meditative practice, and connect with our ancestors. During winter solstice, candles are an important reminder of the power of light to overcome darkness. As a child in New Mexico, I remember the warm and ethereal feeling I got when I would see neighborhoods and streets lined with luminarias, or farolitos as they call them in northern New Mexico. Luminarias literally mean festival lights. Farolitos are little lanterns. These are lanterns made out of a paper bag, sand, and a candle. Here in New Orleans, 7-day candles are extremely popular owing to the influence of New Orleans voodoo and hoodoo traditions, which are a unique blend of Catholicism, African diaspora, and indigenous practices. And many great shops in the French Quarter carry them. And there's also something so great about walking into a magic shop and purchasing just the perfect candle, or asking the practitioner behind the desk what their advice is. But sometimes you want something just uniquely yours, suited to your purposes. So what do you do then? Here's what I do. You can purchase an unlabeled glass candle from the Dollar Tree in a variety of colors, but if this isn't suitable, you can also make your own candle out of a tall glass jar, or you can use a tin can. Now this isn't quite a 7-day candle, but you can decorate these, you can make lanterns out of them, and you can fill them with wax. Step 2 is to find the right image to put on your candle, the one that works for you, and to cut the image to fit what you need. Step 3, you're going to be finding and gathering the right materials. I like to use Mod Podge. I like to use the glitter Mod Podge. This is satin. You can use anything you like. A cup of water, some brushes. These are a little tiny, so I cut out these little sponges just in case I needed to use that. Now you can also add different embellishments. You can add beads, you can add glitter, you can add ribbons, and all kinds of different things. So if that's an option for you, you can include that with your supplies. The next thing is that you're going to be painting the glass candle everywhere where you want the image to stick. Once you have that done, you're going to affix it onto the candle like so, and paint over it with the Mod Podge. The finished result should look something like this. After this, you can add whatever you like to it. I'm just going to leave it like this because I like it like that. And you can enjoy. Give it away or enjoy it for yourself. If you're interested in learning more about the Priestess Power Exchange, please visit priestesspowerexchange.com. And if you're interested in booking a remote card reading with me, you can contact me at burlesquebarber@gmail.com or visit my website at snakeoiltarot.com for more information. I wish you many blessings for the Yule and the new year to come. Thank you.
Hey everyone, happy Yule. I am Siona, one of the co-founders of Priestess Power Exchange. You can follow us at priestesspowerexchange.com. There you'll find some wonderful tools and really cool posts and on your intuition and building your network for your magic skills. Today I wanted to show you guys some treats for Yule, and what we're going to be doing is building a little ornament ball, and these I really like because you can use them in your ritual work and you can put herbs in them, you can put scrolls, and you can also charge them up. And I think that they're really great for adding not only to like your Christmas tree, but for holiday decorations as well as giving as gifts. So wonderful things to use are all things that are native around this time of year. So what we have here, if you'd like, you can always use holly. Now, if you don't know about holly in your magic practice, is that holly is very symbolic. It has been used, to symbolize fertility as well as eternal life. Druids really thought that these plants had magical powers, and so it's considered to be very potent around this time of year. Holly in and of itself is a sort of evergreen, and it's also been considered the twin of the oak tree. And its symbolic significance around this time of year was that the holly owns the dark winter months, whereas oak owns the light summer months. And so to have this around means that, you would be bringing good luck into your home. If you're from the Celtic culture, or if you're from Native American culture, a lot of this has also been used in some of their ritual work. Holly, however, should not be eaten, nor should mistletoe. So please be, very careful, because I know that these little red berries can look very appetizing if you have little ones around. So speaking of little ones, as well as pets, I've decided, I know that most people like to use glass, and I've picked up the glass ones, particularly for these ornaments. You can find them at your local stores, craft stores such as Michael's, or any other craft stores. If you like glass, use it. If you don't have any, concerns about hanging or breaking things, if you're clumsy like me, you can also use, plastic one, especially if you're going to be sending them to a friend or a family member to wish them some luck. These travel better. And I found these at the dollar store. They also have them at craft stores too. You just gotta, keep a keen eye out for them, and you can use them there. Another type that I have, if you like, are flatter ones. So these ones lie a little bit better, less chances of them rolling. And I like hanging these type up between my doors, or I might hang them off of my wreath or over a fireplace. And they're really great because they lay flatter, and so less chances for them to roll away. These ones are glass, and I know that they also have them available in plastic, but obviously if you're earth friendly as well, glass is a great way to go. So here are some ideas of things that you can use. Now for the first part, for your ritual work, and just so you know, when you start your ritual work, I like to, bless my place, and I keep some, incense and a candle going, some earth and water. Depending on what your practice is, it's your own practice. So, work with not only what you have, but what's true and speaks to you and uses your intuition. Also use common sense, and research your tools before you use them so that you know best how to use them. A couple of really cool plants that we have here. I like using plants that are super green. Now, it's funny because my landlord just handed me all of these cedar branches, which I really love using. A cedar is another sort of wintergreen plant that you'll see floating around, and it grows so quickly. When he planted it, it was like a tiny little guy, and now it is taller than the house. And so this is also a wonderful plant to use. It has a lot of healing properties. I also have some pine, which I have picked up from my local park. I like using things that fall off of trees. Some folks, if you have a pine near you, you would leave an offering if you're going to do any clippings. It's just a little tip from my own godmother, Lilith Dorsey. Here's some other examples of really beautiful pine that you can use in your work. The other, I feel like this is a magic catch-all, is rosemary. Now, all of you who are familiar with rosemary, lots of beautiful magic that happens with rosemary. Healing, in particularly, is one of the qualities that rosemary is known for in so many ways. Respiratory, especially in these times with COVID and it attacking our areas of breath and our lungs and our immune systems. I think that it's a really great herb. Cinnamon is always great to have. You could use sticks of cinnamon from your own kitchen cupboard. That's an easy grab there. I also brought some really cool red dogwood and there are a couple of little mini pine cones, lots of different types that you can use. If you don't, you don't necessarily have to stick these inside of the bulb, but they're really great if you want to thread through them and add a little panache. The other thing that I like using is that if you have some small stones that you've collected over time, you can also stick these into your ornaments. So here's one example of me charging a couple of stones and throwing those in there as a gift, which are really quite wonderful. Now, what you can also use in your magic is color magic. So for one example that I have here on this bow, as you'll see, what we'll be doing is we'll be taking and making little scrolls. And all these scrolls, what you can do is you can use some essential oils, and you can just anoint your scrolls with them. I tend to like wild orange and sweet orange, which are really, seasonal for this time, as well as speak to Yule. And I would also recommend, if you do use threads, you can use reds and greens or whatever color magic you'd like to kind of scent your roll. I have written some ideas of some symbols of things that you can put in. This is actually a Kwanzaa symbol for unity, Yumaya. And I also have Yule there. So in case you would like to stay true to tradition, whichever one that you like, those are some ideas of what you can put on the scroll. You can write messages to your friends. You can write your own incantations. I have my little ankh here ready to go. And I'm sure that, whatever you put in there, think about what you would like for this season. So to continue, when you are setting up, you're going to want to, first off, you're going to be taking off the small ornament top right here, and then you'd want to be a lot more careful than I am being right now. You would go ahead and set it down, and then when you are putting in your ferns, you ought to first put it in. You're going to want to put it in the opposite direction of where your ferns are growing. So in this case, and please excuse me because I've only got one hand available. You can kind of get an idea there once you've put it in. Then I have a scroll already set up for you. You're going to go ahead and stick that in there. And you can, as you're doing this, you can sing, you can add your own incantations. Oh, I hope my godmother deletes that part. You can add your own incantations, and you can just stick them in right there, like that. You can then go ahead and you could also put some cinnamon in there, as you like. And you could add some redwood. Now, it's always great to add a touch of color because I think that they just bring out some of the brightness. You can also charge your little acorns that you have collected and put those in there, as well as your stones. So let's say I'm going to go ahead and use a couple of white quartz here. These little pieces of crystal. I've got some amethyst. And I'm going to go ahead and throw that in there. And voila. Now, once you're done, you can also go ahead and take any kind of ribbon that you like, whatever colors suit you, and you would, I'm going to show you some finishing projects. There we go. So this is what, one very, very simple, if you just wanted to put like one fern in and add a scroll, you can keep it very simple. I have this beautiful little piece of ribbon that I've reused. And if you've got some heirloom things that you'd like to, upcycle, feel free to do that. And there you go. you have your work. Now, with different magic incantations, I'll go ahead and share a couple of ideas with you right after this post, and you can pick it up through PDF and so that you can use it for your own magic work. But this is something that's really simple that you can use. And again, you have any ideas that you'd like to add, do it. It's your magic, make it yours. All right, well, that's all I have for you. And from my family to yours, have a very happy Yule.
Hi there, my name is Jay Ryan of the Tarot Life Coach, and I want to first thank Lilith Dorsey for inviting me to this Tarot Yule event. I really appreciate the opportunity, and I'm so glad I get to share this with you guys. So first, I want to talk about a little of what I do, and then I want to go over specifically what I'm doing this time of year as we are heading into Yule and the darker days and the snow-filled nights for those of us here in the states that get snow, places that get snow worldwide. What I'm doing specifically is related to my work as a tarot life coach. What I'm doing with that is I combine tarot and life coaching skills to guide my clients through whatever they happen to need. I cover a myriad of subjects under my specializations tab on my website, thetarolifecoach.com, including ADHD, LGBTQ issues, romantic life issues, career change issues, many of those things. And specifically for Yule, I'm looking into the idea of working with the inner child. Now, we talk a lot about shadow work and doing the work of incorporating our shadow into ourselves, but a lot of times we don't specifically state, at least not right away, looking at the inner child. And so what that does is allows us to look at the trauma and the baggage that we are currently holding on to in a way that allows us to say, hey, inner me, little me, it is okay. And, we can start unpacking that together, big you and little you. Now, one of the ways I like to do this is, of course, with the tarot cards. One small example of an exercise you can do while you're at home is grab a deck of cards, and you can choose a significator for yourself, and that is, choosing a card in the deck. Some people say just use court cards. Some people say you can choose whatever card you really identify with at this point in time, like a major or a court card. Do whatever way feels right for you, but choose a significator that signifies you, and then you can choose one that signifies your inner child. You can lay them side by side, and then you can go ahead and do a reading around, what are you communicating to one another? What does your inner child want to say to you? And, how do we address that? That could be one tool to help you along your way of creating a dialogue with your inner child in order to really unpack the things that you've been carrying around with you that you may not necessarily know that you still have carrying around with you. There's oftentimes an experience with inner child where you feel like, I didn't know I was still holding on to this. And as we enter into these nights of prolonged dark nighttime hours, then it is good, I think, for us to have something to incorporate and to muddle over and to work with, so that when the days become longer, we can go into those daylight hours more complete, working in partnership with our past self and our current self to create our better future self. So again, my name is Jay Ryan. I'm the Tarot Life Coach, and I do urge you to check that out. Thank you so much. I will put a little image here with the little layout that I just talked about there for you, so you can take a look at that as well. And that's going to be the inner child spread that I've come up with. So thank you so much, and I will talk to you all soon. So as you can see, I have the significator of the Page of Wands signifying my inner child here, and then the Queen of Wands as my adult self now. I chose this card because this card frequently comes up for me in my personal readings, so I thought it would be appropriate here. And then I chose this one because it seemed reflective of who I was as a child, adventurous, not quite understanding that, my naivety maybe was getting in the way of me learning some harsher lessons, as happens sometimes as a child. So looking at these, you can say, what does my inner child want to say here? With the Six of Pentacles, okay? So obviously there's, the work you put in is the work you get out. And this is obviously looking at also, the fact that effort is worth it. There is, value to struggling a little bit and, eventually coming out successful. The Queen of Wands is not a failure by any means. And then, of course, the World. I think this speaks to the fact that, like, many others who have my sun sign, which is also my rising, my Mercury, and my Venus of Virgo, we tend to feel a little like the world's on our shoulders and feel like things need to be a certain way. And it's certainly not just Virgo, but the idea of perfection. There is this sort of paralysis that happens with the idea of perfection, where we end up not being able to do the things we want to do, and we end up not being able to push through that psychological procrastination to actually accomplish our goals. Not because we're doing it, not doing it, maliciously. We're not being malicious about what we're not doing, is what I'm trying to say. But what we are trying to do is show, that we do care by trying to make it just so, and we get caught up in the details. So finishing things, following through, and not getting caught up in the details, and letting things just be. Just Be, one of my favorite songs, Let It Be, from the Beatles. I think it makes perfect sense here. And that's kind of something you can do with the inner child and work on that as a spread. And of course, you can add more cards to it as you see fit, but that's just a quick snippet there for you. I hope you enjoy, and as I said previously, I will see you all next time. Hope to talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Hi, it's your ESC from by C. Springer. My shop is on Etsy, and I offer Black womanist lifestyle objects for everyone. And I'm here today wishing you warmth in these fertile, rich, darkest parts of your year, of our year. For many of us, our homes are also our temples. I love being at home. My Orisha and Agun are here, so I'm especially motivated to keep my space clear, clean, and bright. After all, my housemates are quite powerful. So, as many of you who are in this community of this larger pagan community, as many of you know that there's a reason we call it spiritual work. And many of us say that we have a spiritual practice. And those are true words. You have to work your work, and you got to practice to be better. When I want to cleanse or clear a space, I actually do that. I don't fumigate. I address the physical things in my space that can attract or hold on to negative energy. Something so simple as sweeping from beneath the bottom of your couch or clearing out the corners of your room can do amazing things to uplift and clear away negative energy from your life. Something so simple as putting floor washes into your regular cleaning rotation can change your whole life. So today, what I want to do is share with you one of my favorite floor washes. I'm a great believer in reviving ancestral practices, for the ancestors were so very practical. And so I'm going to make this easy for you. Today I'm offering you my Sweet and Mellow blend, and I usually use the Sweet and Mellow blend after I've done the Protect and Purify. And you can easily find all kinds of ways in Lilith Dorothy's book, Water Magic, or if you follow her blog on Pathos, to find great purifying and cleansing floor washes. So to prepare for your Sweet and Mellow, bring some sweet and mellow energy into your home, into your life. You will infuse orange peel, clove, and cinnamon in a cup of water. So to infuse something, you'll make it almost like a tea. And you let that steep in there and get all those extract all those good oils and all the cool things in those herbs into the water. And then when you're ready to mop with hot water, you'll add that infusion to your regular plain mop water, but you're also going to add 1 cup of white vinegar, a half cup of river water, and 1/8 of a cup of rose water and then of course you put the infusion in there. And then just mop your floors in your house and they'll be clean, but you'll also have been adding a little extra something to lift up the vibration of your space. That's simple. Do that regularly when you regularly clean, and you will have a sweet and mellow home. But an optional trick before you mop is sometimes you can do a salt sprinkle on the floor, and you'll remember to always sweep towards the door. So sweep all the negative energy out with salt, lift up, grab that negative energy, take it out the house, and then mop with sweet and mellow. That easy. That's a spiritual practice that you can incorporate into your everyday life very easily. Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit show you some things from my shop that will help you, again, lift up the vibration in your home, keep it nice and light and powerful. I offer so many different things. I am here for you at home and on the go. So one of the first things I'm going to start with is we have this wonderful pillow called Will Manifest, and she's soft and she's great to snuggle with. And she, if you notice, she has the Adinkra symbol in her belly and this is the symbol of Besasaka, which is sack of kola nuts, and it symbolizes affluence, abundance, and unity. So call her in. She's there, backed up by your ancestors on the side, and she's just calling forth her new world. This is my favorite, one of my first designs. This is Set 'Em All Free, and she is joyful. She is joyous, and guess what? She has set them all free. She has no fucks. No fucks. All the fucks are free. All of them. They're just off and away, out of her life. Just goodbye. So she's a wonderful friend to bring into your life when you need to remember that sometimes you just have to let it go. It's not about you. It's just about whatever anybody's doing that is bothering you, just or anything you've internalized that you're taking yourself to task for. Set them all free. Set them free. This is another pillow of mine. She is called, she's the Curiosity Pillow, and she was inspired when I was on the Facebook one day and some people were getting up to some white nonsense. And she also comes as a mug that says, "What is this white nonsense?" at the bottom, and a t-shirt too. So you'll really enjoy her. I also really believe that the principles of Kwanzaa, I've been struggling to try to find a way, we would be so strong if we, as communities, if we could bring those 7 principles into our everyday life. And so I meditated, and I came up with 7 designs for the 7 days of Kwanzaa. This one is Ujaama, and that is collective work and responsibility. And this is Ujaama envisioned as loving generosity. It also comes on a towel. It's actually a luxury bath sheet. And it's this big, beautiful, vibrant, soft towel. Put it in a guest room, make your guests feel just like they're welcome in your home, or keep it for yourself when you do your special cleansing baths. When you are that's another great way to release negative energy, is to do a spiritual bath. I would either talk to your local priest or Mama Lilith has some great ideas too. So find a reputable practitioner and get a reading and find out whether you need a spiritual bath or just do your daily maintenance and wrap up in some loving generosity, a beautiful soft towel. The other, another wonderful way, you can change the energy of a whole room with some throw pillows and some throw blankets. And I have these lovely, this is my design for Umoja Unity. And this is such a soft, oh my gosh. It's a soft blanket. Wrap yourself up in just this beautiful, beautiful, luxurious throw pillow. I love these blankets. They're so cozy. And then you just while away your winter nights wrapped up in the vision of unity and protection. So there's those. So much to offer. And why keep it all at home? I have so much for you to take it on the go. I've got socks. This is my vision of Kuji Chagalia, self-determination. And this is this beautiful hoodie with this. I love this design. It's got a nice front pocket and a super soft inside. Keep your hands all warm and keep your head all nice. And take your self-determination with you wherever you go. And this also comes on pillows and throw blankets, mugs, however you want to call your own capability to determine who you are and what you stand for into your life. Because ultimately, what we surround ourselves with impacts our energy. And so I'm here for you at that's 4 M's by C. Springer to help you draw in positivity, draw in wellness and well-being, and have the spirit all around you in your life, in your home, and on the go. So thanks for listening, and look forward to hearing from you about how my work has helped you. Take care.
Hi, my name's Jason. This is my book. It's called Llewellyn's Little Book of Yule. I'm here, I guess, to promote my book. I really don't have anything else to sell. I have no marketable skills other than being able to write things about paganism and witchcraft, and to a lesser extent, the holiday season. I really love this book. I love this book because I truly love the Yuletide season. It is my favorite time of year. I think it's full of magic. I think it is the time of year that is full of the most magic. One of the reasons for that is people have been celebrating the winter solstice, Yuletide, for thousands and thousands of years. This is the Goseck Circle in Germany. It's 7,000 years old, and it's one of the first, if not the first, celestial observatory dedicated to the winter solstice. So people have been celebrating the winter solstice in this time of year for a very, very, very long time. There are other sort of monuments to winter solstice that most people are more familiar with, including Newgrange in Ireland, where the sun shines in on the morning of the winter solstice, and only the morning of the winter solstice, which you can watch today online, which is pretty cool. Stonehenge is also a observatory we mostly associated with the summer solstice, but it also aligns with the winter solstice, which might have been the most important part, really. So, to me, what's really important about Yuletide is that it's not just one holiday. It's true that the Norse celebrated an ancient holiday called Yule. However, they probably celebrated it for 2 months. Later, it became sort of a euphemism for Christmas. Yule and Christmas were used interchangeably for over 1,000 years, but people also used the word Yuletide to signify all of the different holidays that were a part of late autumn and early winter. To me, there are a bunch of different Yuletide holidays. I usually start my observance of Yuletide on Thanksgiving in the United States. I celebrate Repose the next day, which is sort of like a ninth Sabbath between Samhain and the winter solstice, celebrating all the changes that have occurred outside your door in the last month. And no matter where you live in the United States, usually those changes are pretty big. There's a big difference between late November and late October. Krampus Night is celebrated December 5th. St. Nicholas Day is celebrated December 6th, which for a long time was sort of the day to get presents during the holiday season. St. Lucy's Day, December 13th, which it probably links up to an ancient Scandinavian sun goddess, which seems really cool to me. Most of us know that Hanukkah is celebrated sometime in late November throughout December. There's, of course, the winter solstice. Yule, December 21st. This year in 2020, Christmas, December 25th. I know a lot of pagans poo-poo Christmas, but Christmas itself is a combination of Christian and very much pagan things. And also sort of mundane things, just that people made up. So, celebrate it if you want. St. Stephen's Day, Boxing Day, or December 26th. St. Stephen's Day was once a pretty big deal, as mentioned in the song Good King Wenceslas. Good King Wenceslas went out on the feast of Stephen. He went out on the day after Christmas. Kwanzaa is celebrated December 26th through January 1st. There's New Year's Eve. There's New Year's Day. There's my birthday, January 4th. Not that I expect any of you to celebrate it. Of course, there's 12th night, January 5th. Why 12th night? It's the 12th night of Christmas. And for a long time, especially in the medieval and early modern periods, it was one of the highlights of the holiday season because it was the last big night of the holiday. So you might as well drink and have as good of a time as you possibly can. Epiphany's January 6th, which is the celebration of the wise men making their way to Bethlehem to give Jesus a bunch of incense and some gold. Not the worst gifts, really. And then Plough Monday, which is a holiday almost no one's ever heard of, but in England for a long time was celebrated on the Monday after Epiphany, and it's celebrated having to return to work, and people would drag a plow through town, adorn it with flowers, drink a lot, of course, while doing it. If you got super lucky and Epiphany was on a Monday, then Plough Monday would be the following Monday, so you got like an extra free time off of work. All of those are holidays about Yuletide. My book talks about other things. It talks about the holidays that sort of predate Christmas and our modern celebrations of this time of year. Things like the Roman Saturnalia. So much of the Saturnalia really influenced Christmas. Almost everything that Christians do for Christmas for a long time, straight from the Saturnalia. Did lots of stuff. Can't talk about it all. Also, they talk about how Christians stole our stuff during the holidays. Because they did. And that's fine, and that's just sort of how it goes. I talk, of course, about the Germanic Norse Yule. Talk about all the things they did and all the traditions from that celebration that have made it into today. I talk about mumming in the book, which is a big deal. Mumming is dressing up in costumes, sometimes animal costumes, sometimes cross-dressing, sometimes just horrifying costumes in their own way. There's a lot of things to mumming, and it's still practiced in a lot of different parts of the world. It's practiced in Newfoundland, Canada today. It's also practiced in Philadelphia, where the January 1st Mummers Parade is the largest Mummers Parade in the world. The holiday dress-up thing also once occurred on Thanksgiving. It looked a lot like Halloween. I talk about that, of course, in the book, which is only $14, so I hope that you think about buying it. Misrule is a huge part of the holiday season. It's about upsetting the apple cart. It's about shaking up the social order. And there are things that come out of misrule. Things like wassailing. Things like trick-or-treating, really. There are also some really cool sort of pagan traditions related to wassailing, like wassailing the apple trees that provide the cider. Not beer, but cider. I love you, cider. The nativity is something I talk about in the book just a little bit. I talk about misconceptions about the nativity. Of course, I also talk about unexpected guests at the Nativity, like the Cagner, who is a Christmas pooper. He leaves Jesus his excrement as a gift, not making it up. It's a real tradition found in parts of Europe. Talk about Charles Dickens' book A Christmas Carol. While it didn't quite invent the holiday season, it had a large impact on the holiday season. One of the coolest things, though, about A Christmas Carol is that Ghost of Christmas Present looks a lot like Dionysus. Just going to throw that out there. Talk about how Victoria and Albert helped sort of reignite interest in the holiday season in the UK and then later the United States. I talk about the origin of Christmas things. Some of them like poinsettias, and bigger ones like the Christmas tree. Does it go back to ancient paganism? We don't know. Maybe, possibly. There's some things that make you wonder. Then there are things that make you wonder less. It's hard to say. That's one of the great things about all these traditions. There's so much history, so many interpretations and ways of looking at it. One of everybody's favorite things about the holiday, of course, are the gift givers of the holiday. You know, Yule is great because it's magical. There are so many magical creatures. Like Santa Claus. He flies around the world in one night, drops off billions of toys, lives at the North Pole with elves who make those toys. That's magic. That's this time of year. And nothing really compares to it when it comes to magic in mainstream consciousness. Anyways, talk about Santa. Talk about his origins with St. Nicholas. Talk about his origins with Odin. Talk about how he's always worn red, has nothing to do with Coca-Cola. Talk about some other gift givers that I think are cooler because in some ways they are frightening. I know people who are still scared of the Krampus from experiences they had as children. Let's talk about Krampus, the fauna, the Yule goat, the Christ kindle, which is sort of like a Christmas angel. And then I talk about traditions after Yule, after Christmas. Big one is New Year's Eve, which for a long time was like the holiday for a lot of people. And imagery we associate today with the Christmas season was also once a part of New Year's. And then, of course, as I said at the beginning, 12th night was once a very, very big deal. And I talk about 12th night because it was the night to party. And if you got a gift on 12th night, which was very common in a lot of places, you called it a Christmas present because it was a part of the 12 days of Christmas. And then Epiphany, January 6th. So that's my little book, Llewellyn's Little Book of Yule. I don't care where you buy it. I hope that you'll think about buying it. It makes a great little present, too. I'm Jason Mankey. Thank you so much for listening.
Hey, fat chick, you're gonna come into me. Hey, fat chick.
Ladies, gentlemen, everybody in between and on beyond, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much to the Priestess Power Exchange for inviting me to be part of your Yule celebration. Thank you for tuning in whenever, wherever, however you are in this moment and in this time. I am so honored to be with you. My name is Fat Mandy, and I've got some songs for you. For my first one, I'd like to bring out my dancing assistant, Tommy Amoeba, the lowest form of life. O Tannenbaum, O Tannenbaum, wenn sie nicht deine Blätter, O Tannenbaum, O Tannenbaum, wenn sie nicht deine Blätter, wenn sie nicht nur zur Sommerzeit, nein, auch im Winter, wenn es schneit. O Tannenbaum, O Tannenbaum, wenn sie nicht deine Blätter. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hoppa, Nagila, hoppa, Nagila, hoppa, Nagila, Verisina. Hoppa, Nagila, hoppa, Nagila, hoppa, Nagila, Verisina. Habari, Nagina, habari, Nagina, habari, Nagina, Verisina. Habari, Nagina, habari, Nagina, habari, Nagina,
Merry Christmas, Hana Kawanza. From Fat Mandy and Tommy Amoeba. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody in between and on beyond, give it up for Tommy Amoeba, your dancing dreidel and lowest form of life. Kisses. Yay! Okay, so I do have some things. If you'd like to have some things, you can get some things. These are some of the things I have. I have these beautiful pendants. I have these beautiful pendants right here. They're made by my friend Masha. I also have these other jewelry items made by my beautiful friend Angela Rocco. She made me these. These are little kilt pins. So these are kilt pins that I have, and I also have these cool little hair barrettes, you know, with images of me from over the years by beautiful photographers. I have lots of pendants, other kinds of pendants also from Angela Rocco. You know, that's a picture of me when I sang at the mayor's party. And I have these awesome t-shirts. I made so many t-shirts because I had a heck of a summer planned. I had tours to California and New York and Coney Island and San Francisco. I guess it's in California, but yeah, I had places to go. And then I didn't go there, so I have lots of shirts, and I'd love to see one on you. I would love that. I would love that, love that, love that. The music you're hearing tonight or today, depending on what time you are listening, is from this album, and it's called Fat Mandy and Friends, Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. And that is available for download or for sale on my website. All of this stuff is on my website, fatmandymusic.com. And I have this CD, Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, with artwork by political cartoonist Rob Rogers. I have Social Justice Disco, Songs to Fight Fascists by, and I have Life Just Goes On, my first album from 2002. And I have Torch of Blue, which is me and Fire. The musicians on all these tracks are fabulous. This is Hey Fat Chick, You Got It Coming to You. For my final song this evening, I'm going to sing a song which words simply mean, give us peace. But as I pray for peace, I understand that there can be no peace without justice. So as I sing for peace, know that I am also singing for justice, because together and only together can the other exist. Much love to you. May the Lord and Lady bless and keep you this holiday season. Dono nobis pacem pacem. Dono nobis 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 pacem pacem. Dono nobis pacem. Dono nobis pacem. Dono nobis pacem. Nobis pacem. Dona 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 nobis pacem.
Hi there. I'm Madam Ansa, also known as Lauren Ansa O'Leary, or the hardest working woman in show business. I am the artist and co-author of the World Spirit Tarot. Now, World Spirit was one of the earliest decks to prioritize inclusivity, and in it you will find folks of all colors, sizes, orientations, genders. Representation has always been very important to me in tarot and in art. I have been reading cards, writing about tarot, working in the arts and cultivating community for a long time. I have been honored to have the opportunity to teach all across the US and also in Europe. When it's safe to gather in those times, bringing people together is my passion and my superpower. I host witchy bonfires, seasonal red tents, produce weekend-long arts festivals. I've been doing that for 15 years. I officiate weddings and hand fastings. I have an online chaos witchery study group. I just love the witchy shit, and I love to bring people together. In order to stay connected during the pandemic, I have offered dozens of donation-based, all levels, online tarot classes to give folks a sort of positive focus and some sanity, perhaps, an oasis of sanity during these crazy times. All that content and more is available on my YouTube. If you like that sort of thing, by all means, go and enjoy it. There's more and different content also on my Patreon. I am a creative person. Idleness does not sit well with me. I like to stay busy. So I am currently working on an updated 3rd edition of the World Spirit Tarot in anticipation of our big anniversary coming up, and an expanded companion texts for folks who would like to be able to do more of a deep dive. This season of the year, I am always crazy about Krampus. I am batty for Baba Yaga, so I like to use my voice, my art, my platform to expand awareness and appreciation of these folkloric, animist, and pre-Christian traditions that mean so much to me. If you like that sort of thing, I've got a lot that I would love to share with you. In fact, this weekend, I am hosting online a Pay What You Can, and if you can't, be my guest, because COVID, all levels, all ages, Krampus online crafting class. I'm very excited about that. Again, I love collaborating. So in 2022, I am co-producing with the amazing Byron Ballard a wine and witchcraft tour of Sicily called Paths of the Goddesses. If you're not familiar with Byron, she's an amazing author and Appalachian witch. She just oozes integrity. I encourage you to check her out. It's an honor to get to do this with her, assuming we get to travel again soon. I know we are all facing a strange and unprecedented winter, a strange time in history. Don't feel alone. Because of the internet, we have ways to stay connected. If you would like to spend any of that time with me, with us this winter, we will be learning, throwing cards, talking about art. You can find me at The World Spirit Tarot and at hardestworkingwomaninsshowbusiness.com. I'd be glad to spend some of that time with you. Again, my name is Madam Ansa. I am so excited to be here with this powerful convocation of priestess ladies. Thanks for watching. I'll be back in just a minute with some lighthearted frivolity on the ukulele. Outsiders fear that we're malicious. Our witching ways make them suspicious. They can't believe we're just religious. They can't see we just want to live deliciously. With that, there's a lather and glitter and salt and freshly cut apples on stone. The light of the moon make the noctics and swoon. They feel the call in their bones. Oh, in their bones. Circle once more around the fire, embody earthly joys. Cast the incense on the pyre and make a joyful noise. In perfect love and perfect trust, do what you will, do what you must. merry meet and merry parties, reading rooms on my pagan heart. And theaters and taverns and urban hubs and country lanes and country clubs, up on the hinges, down in the coast, we shall have music wherever we go. Wherever we go. A clamor of glamour and a glimmer of bone, freshly burnt offerings on stone. The light of the moon makes the night witches swoon. You'll feel the call in your bones. Oh, in your bones. As below, so above. Love's the law is love. Salve et coagula, well darkness. Hallelujah. Raise a hue and raise a cry. Ward against that evil eye. Feel the breeze when we go by. Now is when all the witches fly. 'Cause outsiders fear that, well, malicious our witching ways made them suspicious. They can't believe we're just religious. They can't see we just want to live deliciously. That is the closest I've ever come to being able to play that song for anyone. I hope you enjoy it. So, this is a song that I wrote. I haven't played in a while. I've been doing a lot here during the pandemic. So the name of the song is Don't Judge. And the moral of the recording is also don't judge, in case I, drop a chord or anything. But I hope that you enjoy. When we first got together, like birds of a feather, and I thought finally someone to love me just for me. So we got a cute apartment with hippie neighbors and a fenced-in yard, and everything was magical till my baby went astray. But I'm not the judgy kind. I don't mind. Baby's got some secrets, but I've got mine. Now here's the tricky chords. We got through it. Could have cried oceans of tears at home, finding strange hairs in your comb and bloodstains in the laundry left me in a quandary too. So I searched around on Tinder and I prowled around on Grindr, and I checked you out on FetLife in case you were running around. But I don't know if you noticed, but I'm not the judgy kind. I don't mind. Baby's got some secrets, but something killed the hippies' chickens on the nights that you were missing, and I found my bedroom slippers buried in the yard. found the collar, and it made me stop and wonder. But I put it all together, and baby, it's okay. 'Cause I don't think I didn't notice that you're not even kind. I don't mind, baby's got some secrets, but I've got mine. We're getting there. You've been too preoccupied to ever notice that I lied, because the bad hairs look like cat hairs, and they're easier to hide. You came through the dog door, but I jumped out the second floor. You're prowling in the alley, love, and I'm soaring high above. I don't mind, but I don't think you noticed that I'm not humankind. I don't mind, but I don't think you noticed that I'm humankind. You howl, I echolocate. Sounds like a sexy midnight date. How nice that you're lycanthropy, but that you love a vamp like me. Now that it's come to light, now we're both creatures of the night, an eldritch critter finally to love for eternity. We don't mind, don't know if you noticed, but we're not humankind. We don't mind, don't know if you noticed, but we're not humankind.
Hello, and happy winter solstice season. This is an original song that I wrote many years ago. I try to sing it every year, and it's about the solstice. It's called The Longest Night. Sing to me, I feel summer in this longest night. I feel summer. Still the winter comes on while we wait for the dawn. Tonight, oak and holly are lovers. For tonight, oak and holly are lovers. Oh. Oh. Listen to the sound of the summer king fighting all night with the winter king. One will stay standing, the other collapse. It's a delicate dance, the season of romance. It's a rhapsody of you. It's your belly stirring from your slumber. Is it any wonder you're crawling along? You're crawling. When you're holding me, I feel someone. In this longest night, I feel someone. And only one will remain when the year's at its wane. Tonight, oaken holly are lovers. Just for tonight, oaken holly are lovers. When you emerge from the catacombs, what will you bring to the world? Will you hang on to your story of never fitting in? Or will you become who you really are? Finally you. What will you do? What will you do? What will you do when the light has returned? What have you learned? What have you learned? What have you learned? This sweet night, we celebrate, never afraid again. Being afraid, all this is weight upon you. Are you ready to let it go? Are you ready to let it go? Are you ready to let it go? The longest night. This is the longest night. We're all waiting for the lights. We're all waiting for the lights. Thank you. I'm Jason Winsley, and my band is Secret to the Beehive, and that was Longest Night. Thanks very much.